Our collection is basically telling the story of Queenslanders who have served in the defence of Australia. So it's records that are significant to the defence of Queensland, and that's not just during wartime, but it's interwar period. It's pre-World War I right through to the current day, peacekeeping and home defence. And a lot of the stuff that we have is personal collections. So these are people who've served, and they've had their own their military accoutrements, you could say, uniforms and weapons and the likes, but also their personal diaries, papers, pay books, that sort of correspondence, and a lot of the documents that were about what they were doing. Some of them that they received as part of their work, and some of them they created as part of their work, some of them that they shouldn't have kept, but they did, and they ended up in our collection. So a really rich source of primary history. Background as an archivist. I've been an archivist with the Commonwealth Government for more than 30 years. So my interest is not necessarily in military and defence. My interest is in cataloguing and description and making these things available. So most of my career I was a reference archivist, and the real joy of being an archivist is getting that material that's in buildings, in boxes, exposed and available and findable and accessible and usable. And that's what I want to do with this collection. It's fine to have all these boxes in this artefact room, which is great, and it's lovely. This is like my heaven, coming in here. But it's no good if people don't see it and use it and make it's only valuable when it's used. That's the value of it. Get it out there, make sure people can see it. It feeds into our museum displays, which are rotating. So yeah, that's my role. That's my love. That's my passion. Get this. You can't make the stuff available unless it's described, and you can't tell the story unless you find out the background and the history of that item. What's the significance? How do we get it? This is our artefact store. We have around 12,500 items. So each item we have on an accession register. We store all of our small things in here, so each item is described at a pretty decent level, and then it's linked to a location, a shelf or a box, so that we can find it. So look up the accession register, find what box it's in, come in here, open the box, there it is. So all of our small things are kept in here. This room is kept at humidity below 50%, because our main store, that's the biggest issue for us in Brisbane, of course, humidity. So we keep it controlled 24/7. If you think about the age, we've got things from the Boer War, so anything that's old, it's that old, it's fragile just by the nature of the age. But it includes things like a Boer War emergency ration, that hasn't been opened. It's like a tin. Still has the stuff inside it, which is apparently a meat paste and a chocolate paste. So everything that we know that we have is catalogued, and it's catalogued to a pretty good level. But the information that we have on some of the stuff is not that great. So what we're doing now is we have volunteers who come in. We're doing a stock take, and the stock take involves making sure that everything that we say is in a box is there, but then doing the research on provenance if it's missing. So we've got some paperwork, we've got some donation forms, we've got some other correspondence, but also there's a bit of research using whatever resources you can find on the internet or wherever to find out what the thing was, or how it relates to that person, or how it relates to that event, that action, that thing, that group, that platoon, that squadron. So good fun. If you're interested in that, welcome to come down and have a look and help us out with that sort of work, which is really valuable. It's without the story about the object, it's just an object. You need the story, which gives it the significance. and every Sunday. So if they come down on Sunday, we have the museum open, and we generally have some volunteers doing some work on the collection, that stock take and accessioning and repackaging. We want to make sure that all of the collection that we have is, we make it last as long as we possibly can, hence the humidity control, but also it's repackaging into acid-free containers and bags like Mylar and acid-free tissue. So we do that repackaging, the cataloguing, and the checking and the research to find out more about the items.